Good morning, everybody, and welcome again. You can just sit on something with your legs crossed. See the way that you naturally want to cross and rather change that to the more unnatural way of crossing. So the other leg goes in front, and then just move your knees closer together so that your shins are meeting each other halfway. Sit for a moment with your hands on your knees and roll your shoulders back. As you take a moment for your chest to lift, your spine to elongate and lift. And just let your eyes soften down towards the floor. As soon as they meet the floor, just let them rest there and slowly deepen. If your groins are feeling a bit tight and your knees don't naturally want to settle down towards the ground, take some more height. Keep your collarbones broadly moving away from each other. And then when you're ready, bring your hands together. Just keep your eyes open for now, so just where they've met the ground, where they're soft. Lengthen from your shoulders, down into your elbows, lift your chest a little bit more, keeping your chin parallel to the floor. And then just gently close your eyes. Allow your eyes to soften towards the outer corners, towards the temples. And let the temples be soft. Let your cheekbones soften towards the hairline. And allow your lips to be soft but full. Just become aware of your breath entering and leaving the nose, soft and serene without controlling it. And just observe where in the lungs it's moving to. Is it still up in the chest? And if it's still up in the chest, gently invite the breath deeper down, past the navel. Let's do the 3 ohms together. Into your lungs. Inhale. Om. We'll open with the invocation to Patanjali. Join in if you know it. Just again sit with a deep sense of gratitude for the gift of yoga and where it comes from. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Chavajakena Yopa Karotam Pravaramuninam Patanjalim Pranjali Ranatosmi Abhavu Purushakaram Shankha Chakrasidarinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjali Hari Om. Release your head to your heart and have a moment to make your own inner acknowledgements. And then when you're ready, release your hands, palms facing up onto your inner knees. Keep your head down as you open your eyes. And then when you're ready, raise your head. So for some of you may have done this class with me not so long ago. It's I've adapted it from a class that came from a senior Iyengar teacher called Lois Steinberg. And it's to do with the respiratory system. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a problem with your lungs, or if you do, it's very helpful, but it's also good for really strengthening the lungs, opening up and getting into the spaces where we often don't breathe into. So obviously very important for this time. And it has been adapted because we don't all have all the props that are for this. I mean, the full class, it's a lot more, there's a lot more rope work and other props and settle-binder benches and things. So I'm willing to share that onto you if any of you want to take it a bit further. So for today, we are going to need a bolster or whatever you have there to make up something like this with a bit of height. And then for this first one, get a blanket or a towel and just fold it in half and put it over the front edge of your support. So you end up from the side view, it's something like that. Take your knees apart. So you're going to be sitting with your knees apart, big toes to touch, and sit back onto your heels. We're going into Adho Mukha Virasana. And just take a moment to get your prop set up and sit up. Just remember, if you have any questions, just unmute your mic and let me know if there's anything you need to know. So just remember for this one, any knee problems, you can put a folded blanket behind the back of the legs and then you'll need more height under the buttocks. Any tight hips or lower back problems, take support underneath the buttocks. So a blanket again or a towel. And if when you go forward now, your buttocks lift up, take support for that space too. So just fill the space. We want our heels and the buttocks to stay connected. So give everything that you're going to need. And once you're ready, just sit with your knees apart. When you sit in this position, we sort of sink down into them and the heels move to the sides. They sort of accommodate space for the buttocks to sink between. So we want to change that a little, lift a little bit higher off the buttocks, lift the buttocks off the heel, and take the outer corners of your heels and gently press them towards each other, and then sit back down. See if you can get the sitting bones to connect to the heels. And then from there, press down onto the sides of your mat, lift your chest, creating length to the front of your body, and when you fold down, your arms are going to be folded and just your forehead touching that folded blanket. So your arms are folded, holding at your elbows. You can close your eyes and just check in for yourself if you're in this position. If you feel your buttocks is not touching your heels, just put in another blanket or towel, whatever you've got there. So keep your arms folded on the support, your forehead touching the support so your nose is not squashed, so you can breathe. So if your nose is squashed, just move the folded blanket a little bit more further forward. So Corinne, move the phones closer to you, bring them back to you, and then move your blanket a little bit further away from, yes, that's it. Just close your eyes. Your collarbones spread widely and broadly away from each other. And the brain comes to rest in the forehead. Soften the mouth cavity. And invite the breath into the back of your chest. I'm just going to stay here for a couple more minutes. So just keep luring the breath into the back of the body. So breathing in and out of the back of the chest. And then raise your head and just come back to sitting onto your heels. Take the blanket that you've got there, just open it out. So you get something about the size. We may all have different size blankets. We're going to do what's called the 3-fold. I'll show you from the side. You just go like that, that, and that. So you end up with something that looks like this. If you can see that. We'll just show you one more time if you missed that. Just like that. So it's a more narrow support now. And then you can have it over the front of your bolster or whatever you're using. And then slide it forward. So just your forehead again is going to touch. So the support that you're using. So for some of us, it comes in close when we're using it. For some of us, it'll go on top of our knee. So we're going to go to the side. So move the support to the right side. So if you need it to come up higher, you can bring it all the way up to you to go up and over, hands to the floor and head down. Some of us may need to move it away from the knee, so it's in front of the knee. If you have a longer extension, and then you go forward, lengthen the front of the body, take the head down, and your hands can slide over the front of the support. So adjust that blanket so that it sits underneath your forehead. So when you're ready, go down to the right. Turn your chest, lift the front of your body, lengthen and extend forward. Take your head down. And some of you will have it all the way up so that you're able to lift up and over and then move the blanket away. So find what works for you. We're going to the right side. It looks good. Just your forehead is touching the support. So again, your nose is free. it can breathe. Yeah, that looks good, Henry. So if you're going to your right side, move your left knee a little bit further away from you. So the inner groin soften towards the inner knees and lengthen towards the inner knees. And despite the asymmetry, we still invite an even breath in and out both sides of the torso evenly here. So bring the breath to the sides, to the side walls of the chest equally. So it's not a deep ujjayi breath, it's a normal breath, but we are inviting and guiding the breath to the side walls of the chest evenly. And the stretches in the kidney area, the liver and the spleen. And then raise your head and move the support all the way across to your left, so whether it's on top of your thigh or in front of you, to get the prop ready. And then turn and lift your chest to that left side. Take your hands to the floor, lift and lengthen the front of your body, and then extend forward, taking your head down again. So if you lose connection between that right buttock and that heel now, if you don't have support there, that's fine. But lengthen the sides of the torso evenly towards the armpits. So if you can move your right knee a little bit further away from you again, like we did on the left side. Shoulders are level. You can flatten your hands onto the floor. So with the blanket folded in this way, shouldn't compromise the shoulders or the arms. We've got open armpits in this position, so straighten your arms, creating space for the lymphatic nodes in the armpits. And now again, bring the breath to the side walls of the chest equally. And then raise your head, walk your hands back to the center. Have your eyes open, move your hands back to the sides of your hips and just sit up, lift your chest. So now Parivrita Adho Mukha Virasana. Have either some yoga foams or folded blankets. And we'll have again our heels below our hips. And now I'll demonstrate from both ways. As we go forward, you're going to turn to the one side. The left arm comes underneath. You turn and we want our ear to rest on a block or the foams. I'll show you from the other side. We press down and turn our chest. So from here you can see going forward, and then the left hand comes underneath. Well, let me do mirror image. The left hand comes underneath. Turn your head to the side, and then this hand, your right hand, will cup and press onto the floor so you can turn your chest even more, and then rest. It's a lovely twist. So face your support, get whatever it is that you're using, a block or a foam. Take your hands forward and lift your chest. Now I'm mirror imaging. So your left hand is coming underneath in front of you to the side, flat onto the floor, and then turn your head so that your ear rests on the support. Cup the fingers, bring the hand of the right hand further back, even to the knee or in front of the arm. See what works for you. But press into your fingers. Turn your chest so you can stretch your left hand further away from you. And then turn the left hand to face up to the ceiling. Close your eyes. Feel how the entire torso turns and twists. The ear must rest on the support, and it's a good indication to see if the head is level. So if it's not, just bring the support more underneath the side of the head. Excuse me. Close your eyes. Yes, use that hand, the fingers cupped onto the floor, so you can really turn your chest. Feel how you're getting a stretch in between the ribs and those intercostal muscles. Close your eyes. So this is a great squeeze and soak action of the spleen, the kidneys and the liver. And this creates an inner flexibility in these intercostal muscles, which of course then facilitates better breathing. And then lift your head and return to the other side. So your right arm will come underneath and in front of you, slide to the side, turn your chest, use your fingers to cup onto the floor and turn even more. Rest your ear onto the support. When you're in that position, turn your palm up towards the ceiling and close your eyes. Just observe the breath. So this is a good sequence to practice at any time, even just these 3 variations of Adho Mukha Virasana. And just remember, in your own practice, find what works for you, but we try and get something between the buttocks and the heel if you're not connected there. But don't make any adjustments now. You're going to slowly come out of that. So lift all the way up, come back to the center, and then sit up. So you can either use that same support that you've got or foams, depending on what you've got at home. We're going to do Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward facing dog, with our heels to the wall. So I'll demonstrate from the side, taking our heels right to the wall and then climbing up. And you'll end up with your head on the support. If you don't have wall space, cupboard space, or heels against a couch that's not going to slide, something, and find the right height for you. And just remember, you don't want too much head support on your head, too much weight on your head. So the support under your head should just allow for a gentle connection with the top of the head onto the support. And let the full top of the head be on the support. So it's not just the forehead. So you may need to slide the support more towards the leg side. Nice use of props, Chloe. Spread your fingers. Straighten your arms and your legs. and reach up into your sitting bones. With your heels lifted like this, you really get the opportunity to reach up higher into your sitting bones, and now move your chest closer towards your legs. Complete extension of the arms. The upper and the lower spinal column is able to lengthen. You're able to elongate the abdomen. And now see if you can slide your heels down the wall. You may need to move your hands a little bit forward, more forward now. Keep your head on the supports and move your chest closer towards your legs again. Reach your armpits forward. Again, stimulating the lymphatic nodes in this area. Let your inner thighs press back. So even though your chest is moving towards your legs, see if you can take your front ribs back a little towards the back body. Still with that direction of your front ribs, your back body moving towards the legs, the chest towards the legs, but just slightly move those front ribs back towards the back body. So we're expanding and stretching the top of the chest and the lungs. Come down into Adho Mukha Virasana again, knees apart. Just rest your head. You can fold your arms or have your arms straight. And then sit all the way up. So get a chair, a dining chair of sorts, something like this, or a yoga chair if you have one. You can put something on the seat of the chair. And then we're going to stand with our feet apart. End up so that your heels are below your hips. And then using the back of the chair, just looking forward, so halfway, and then we're going to work our hands down the chair, eventually taking our head onto the top of the chair. So for some of you, if you need to go lower than that, then we'll just move away from the seat. You can bring the chair in close, hold on to the sides, widen your elbows, so you won't have your head connecting onto something, but still using the legs of the chair. So first of all, hands onto the back of the chair. So your shoulders are nice and level. Yeah, so adjust so that your feet are below your hips. It is a lot easier to bring your feet a little bit more further forward and then reach back, but we want to rather bring your feet below your hips. Yeah, Corinne, move your feet back. It looks good. Henry, feet back a little bit. Yes. And let the upper back move deeply down towards the chest. Armpits opening, extending forward. Yeah, that looks good, B. Everybody looks great there. So you're really opening the chest here, opening the armpits. And now walk your hands down. Some may go onto the seats of the chair or the back of the chair, and then you can take your head down. See what works for you. Or you may be able to walk your hands down the leg of the chair. You bring the chair a little bit closer, head onto the chair. If that's not doing anything for you, then again, move the chair a little bit further away. Take your head down, bring the chair in close, widen your elbows. So into Uttanasana with the head supported. Yeah, it looks good.
So for those of you with your head on the chair, except for Karine, stay where you are. So those of you with your head on the chair, see if you can move the chair a little bit further away from you. So you're really lengthening the front of your body. You may move the weight onto your forehead a bit now. So flatten your upper back. Yes. Press the front thighs back. And Karine, keep the chair where it is. Just move your feet a little bit further, closer towards the chair. So move your feet a little bit further in towards the chair. Yes, that looks good. And then flatten the upper back. Yes. Keishi, front thighs back. Yes. And then bring your hands onto the top of the chair again. Just pause there for a moment. Keep your shoulders level. You may have to reach a little bit further forward to grab the top of the chair. Flatten the upper back down towards the chest. And then bring your hands to your hips and inhale, come up with a straight back. So we've all done the widespread prasarita. So this one, you will still need some head support, so whatever head support you usually take. And then get into the position with your legs apart. Using the back edge of your mat. Just have your hands to your hips. Press down onto the outer edges of your feet. And then take your elbows back. So you're opening your collarbones. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, come forward. Just bringing your hands below your shoulders and look forward. Straight legs, straight arms. If you need to come up higher, you can put your hands onto your support. But feel in here. If your back is rounding and arching, come up higher onto the support. And for all of us, move the front of the body forward. So the upper back presses down towards the chest. Chest is open. Instead of taking our hands back now, work your hands forward, spread your fingers, slide your hands forward, and release your head next to your upper arms. So your ears are next to your upper arms, fingers spread, eyes open. Front thighs pressing back, inner thighs moving back. Spread your fingers. Feel the full awareness in the hands. Very nice. So the upper back broadly opening towards the chest and the chest broadly opening. And again, the armpits lengthening and opening forward. Stimulating the lymph nodes, especially in this inverted position. Hold and breathe. So your head's not on the support now, but now we're going to move it back to the support. So slide your hands back. You can move the support back if you need to towards the back edge of your mat, and then take your head down onto the support. So if possible, take your hands to be back in line with your heels. If you feel a bit wobbly in that, just move your hands slightly more forward. The top of the head must touch something. So don't strain to get it to touch something, rather take a bit more height. So you want the head to be in a resting position without any strain. The heart is now in a resting position. See that your shoulders gently move up away from your ears. So they're not bunching down towards your ears. Keeping your neck nice and free. Now, some of us may just stay in this position. If you're able to, take your hands to the outer ankles, you can do that. And again, if you've grabbed your ankles, let the shoulders gently move up away from your ears. Nice. And then bring your hands back below your shoulders. Press down onto your hands, look forward. You're coming up halfway. Lengthen the front of your body. Take your hands to your hips, and then inhale, lift your chest. Come all the way up, and then slowly heel toe in until you're ready to step together. So we're going to play a bit now with Adho Mukha Vrikshasana. So remember, obviously you can't do this if you're menstruating. And for some of us, we won't end up kicking all the way up. Great for working to open the shoulders. So just to remind you, a great way to do this through Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then we play with the movement forward because the hips need to move forward in order to go up. And then you move your feet forward, coming up higher onto your toes until you're ready to kick up. And the chest is fully expanded. Here we'll look forward, take the front ribs back, and then the head looks down again. I'll talk you through it. And for those of you who want to, you get to this position and you want to play with the balance, just bring one leg at a time, and then see if you can balance away from the wall. And then to come down with one leg at a time, and then into Adho Mukha Virasana. You can bend your arms and rest your head on your folded arms. So there's something for everybody in this. If you don't end up kicking up, then you can do the downward dog, moving backwards and forwards. And for some of us, we want to play with this variation. So where you walk your feet up the wall, and then you bring your shoulders above your hands, and you just play with it. Don't take your feet, don't bring your leg up and over. Just play with that. The chair is also great variation, Desi. So you could use the back to the wall with your feet on the chair, but make sure that the chair is on the mat. So there's this variation for anybody who's looking for alternatives. And just be careful coming in and out of that with the chair. So play with that movement backwards and forwards. And see if you can kick up. And when you kick up, reach that leg up so high. So it's not just about getting your feet to the wall, it's lifting it up high. And that helps to lift you up. Nice. So keep that one foot firm on the chair, Desi. So just have a rest if you need to. Just work in your own time. Keep your head down. If you go up, you just put your head down for a bit. Just be careful because it's quite a strong action, kicking up. So going topsy-turvy is important when the world seems upside down. So it's a nice way to look at things being upside down, especially if you've got somewhere outside that you can do this with. And even that widespread pose that we were doing just now, the Prasarita, very nice, Henry, with the legs apart. Try and do a little bit of yoga outside if you can. Just some basic things like we're doing Adho Mukha Virasana with the knees apart. We were doing downward dog, Prasarita with the legs apart, and just be upside down there and look at your view from there upside down. It's the most wonderful thing to do. So when you've come down, just rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. And again, it's one of these poses that it's something you don't hold for too long, You work up to holding it for a minute or so, but it's a great one to repeat. And it's a fun one to play. It helps with anxiety and stress, really brings a light playfulness. Even if you're not getting up, it's just great to persevere, keep at this. Nice, Daisy, that looks great. And if you're, sorry, yeah, see everyone. Yeah, and you just try all the variations, but just be careful when you come down, keep your head down for a moment. From here, we'll go into Salamba Shirshasana. So those who are practicing the head balance can go into that. And then for the rest of us who aren't doing Salamba Shirshasana, we're going to repeat Prasarita again. So this time we won't take our hands forward, but we'll still have whatever support you need underneath your head, heels to the back edge of the mat. Remember to start with the concave upper back and then take your head down onto the support. So it's tricky to teach Shirshasana with this mode of teaching because obviously I can't see all of you clearly. But if you want to look, if you're really up, that's fine, you can stay up. But I'll just show you just some things to play with when you're going up. If you are able to go up, then you can start to work on your pose. You can walk your feet in. You can try and bend your knees and see if you can get your balance in that way. And then go up. And if you have that, you can also start to work on straightening your legs and going up. And if you're still doing one leg at a time, that's fine. See if you can try to do the opposite leg to come up. Because we often, even in the head balance and the handstand, I don't know which side, the full arm balance, we always favor one leg. So wherever you are, it's nice just to add in a little bit more of a challenge. And when you feel like coming down, before you come down, see if you can add in an extra breath there. So press down into the forearms and the little fingers, lift your shoulders, keep breathing. Compact around the hips, this is for the head balance. Compact the outer hips to the inner hips and lengthen from the inner leg all the way up to the inner ankles. As if somebody's gently holding around your ankles and lifting you up. So we keep moving the weight from the base of the pose up. And it's usually when the weight comes down onto the head and the neck that we feel we need to come down. Suddenly we stop breathing because all the weight's on the head. But try to breathe and let the pose become light from the base, lifting up towards the feet. And in the head balance, if you're in there, see if you can take your front ribs gently back towards your back body. Henry, keep your head down, but see if you can lift your left hip up a little bit more. Left hip and buttocks up. So I think when you're practicing this one, you need to roll the mat on that left side and put it underneath that left foot, because that left hip is dropping quite a bit. Yeah, and fold it again. Yes. So when you come down from the head balance, you can just keep your head down for a bit. Nice, Chloe. And remember, if you go into the head balance, if you feel any strain in your neck, you come down and you rather realign. So I think one of these days we'll do a session on, I'll try even on Wednesday, trying through Zoom, doing some teaching with the head balance. We'll give it a go. So if you're in the widespread pose, slowly come out of it, having your hips are nice and level. So I think you must try and just include that. Take your hands to your hips and then slowly come all the way up and then heel toe in if you're in the prasarita, the widespread pose. And remember, if you've been in that head balance, just keep your head down for a moment. So now, Viparita Karani will need your bolster or foams, whatever you've been using. A little bit of a space at the wall. If you have blocks, put the blocks to the wall just to make that space, or take a folded blanket, that sort of long blanket that we did earlier, just to mark a space that when you put your next side of support, your bolster or your foams, there is a bit of a gap there. So if you've got these supports, you can put foams, and then the bolster on top, but otherwise make up that height with whatever you have there. Oh, sorry, it's a bit far away. Let me just tilt this down a bit. So there's a bit of a gap at the wall held there with the blocks or a blanket. And then from here, sit on the support with your side against the wall. Put your one hand on the floor, and then you turn. And as you turn, you want your buttocks to end up close to the wall, legs up the wall, and then try and keep your butt close to the wall as you slowly take your shoulders under. Shoulders must end up on the floor, and your arms, you can just relax out to the sides. It is rather delicious. So get set up. Yeah, looks good. Everybody's making a plan. Yeah, you may need to wiggle in. If your shoulders aren't on the floor, then you can take a folded blanket underneath the shoulders, but your shoulders need to be on the floor. Then you need to roll your shoulders underneath, so that you're on the top of your shoulders. So your chest is lifted, slightly arched. And once you've settled into that, allow your legs now to deeply settle down into the hip joints. So as if there's a weight on your feet, or coming there, leaning onto your feet, gently pressing down. See if you can keep your feet together. Any hot flushes, then you have your feet apart. You can look up at your feet. See that the balls of your feet are even, that your big toes aren't rolling towards your inner thighs. If they are, lengthen and lift your big toes up, so the little toe side moves down towards the direction of your outer hips. So in your self-practice, this is a nice one to do, and you can stay here for even 10 minutes. You can practice with the belt around the thighs, belt around the ankles. Just have your arms either to the sides, out to the sides, 45 degrees, or you can even bend your elbows so your arms, the forearms are almost parallel to your head. It's a lovely relaxing pose, and let your hands be soft, your fingers be soft, and close your eyes. So during these stressful and challenging times, the sympathetic system dominates, and that's this flight or fright response which is triggered. And we know if there's chronic stress, there's an imbalance in the circulatory, lymphatic, and respiratory and other bodily functions. So with yoga practice, we really aim to encourage more of the parasympathetic system. So this is what yoga does. And this sequence in particular allows that parasympathetic system to become dominant. And this is a gateway to health. So the parasympathetic system is the gateway to health. And of course, included in that, which is our own doing, our own challenges, is getting enough sleep, a good wholesome diet. And even though all this is going on and we attach ourselves to some of the choices and things that have been made, we really have the choice to not worry and stress about these things and just take each day, day by day, one at a time. So bend your legs and just let your feet touch. Your knees are out to the side, Baddha Konasana legs. And also remember, if you're having troubled sleep, just before you go to sleep, if you're able to, even on your bed, lift your legs up against a wall. If you don't have a wall space like that on your bed, just do it on the floor, have your legs up. And then climb into bed and have a lovely sleep, deep sleep. To come out of this, put your knees together again, feet flat onto the wall or cupboard, and then just push away so that you slide off the support. And just pause for a moment with your back, the entire torso on the floor. You can put your feet in Baddha Konasana again on the support, or cross your legs, whatever works for you. Let your knees flop to the side. So this is one that you don't just jump out of very quickly. Carefully roll over to your right, come up slowly and prepare to relax. Have at least the folded blanket underneath the back of your head. And take whatever other support you need. If you want the bolster under the back of the legs or your calves up on the chair, that's fine. Have some eye cover if you have. You could use a scarf or something, and make sure you're warm enough. And the most important thing with Shavasana is getting into it. So not just flopping down. So just remember to have your legs bent before you straighten them, checking that you are lying evenly on your mat. The head support underneath your head is gently touching the top of your shoulders. Shoulders moving down your back, buttocks flesh away from you. And then straighten your legs over the support or flat onto the floor. And then let the big toes roll to the little toe side. Inner legs to the outer legs, completely relaxing the legs. Chin moves down towards the chest. So remember, if your head is tilted back, you can even grab the back of your head and then tilt your head so that your chin moves towards your chest, lengthening the back of the neck. Let it be soft. Yeah, always be warm in this pose because your body temperature naturally drops as the heart rate slows down. And once you've settled, made all those adjustments, let your body be still. The Shava is like a corpse. We let go of the physical. Allow your body to soften deeply from the front, as if it's melting towards the back body. Let your eyes move with that grounding feeling, releasing your eyes from the eyelids towards the back of the skull. Let your tongue soften away from the front teeth towards the back of the throat. The inner walls of the throat be soft. And the back body softening towards the earth below, releasing the physical body. Let your awareness, your mind, your brain, allow it to soften as if it's melting down towards the chest cavity, settling in the area of the heart chakra, the heart center. And here you may sense the origin of your breath, your life force, in the sweet inner sanctuary. And if the mind rises up and wanders again, just invite the breath, the mind down to the breath. It can draw you back to this inner sanctuary. With your attention to your heart center, allow your breath to start to lengthen again. Just observing where the breath is as you lengthen and deepen the breath. Observe where the breath is moving to. And then bring your breath to normal breathing.
you have eye cover, take the eye cover off and slowly open your eyes. Bend your knees. And then roll over to your right. Pause there for a moment. And then come sit up. And just one more thing for 2 minutes. Whatever your bolster or foams were, that's where I want your head to go. And then just take a folded blanket like we did earlier, that narrow blanket. And that's going to come just at the top of the hips where the lower abdomen is. And just lie back down one more time so that you settle into the prone position, arms to the side. You can move the support forward so that just your forehead touches again. And then just relax down. So move the support forward so your forehead is touching the bolster or the foams, whatever it is. Arms are bent onto the bolster. So the support underneath the lower abdomen shouldn't be too high that it's pressing on you. If it is, just make it a little bit lower and then soften into this prone position. So we don't normally lie in this position, but just invite your mind to connect to your breath again and see where your breath is now. So with any lung problems, any respiratory problems, we often focus on opening the front of the body and lying back on a support, getting the breath in there. But it's very good to bring about a balance to the back body as well, especially for people if they have pneumonia or bronchitis. Otherwise, the fluid can fill in one space. So this is one way of getting to the front and the back of the body. Take your right hand to the floor and then turn to the right so your head rests on the bolster. Bring your knees right up into the fetal position and just relax there for a while. Turn your head so that your head's looking down to your knees and slowly open your eyes to focus then. And then come sit all the way up. You can sit on something. Bring your hands into the prayer position. Lift and lengthen your spine and chest and release your head to your heart. Have a moment to yourself. And let's really try and choose not to stress and worry in these challenging times and be supportive of others and try and guide them in the same way. Thank you, everybody. Namaste. Lots of love to you all. Have a most wonderful day.